On a cold December afternoon in Iver, an hour west of London, a local MP is getting back to basics.
You voting Conservative or voting for another party? Or
voting Conservative.
You're voting Conservative. I won't trouble you.
What was
Conservative. He's Conservative. Right, he's voting Conservative.
Right, Mr. Grieve, how many doors have you knocked on now?
I must have knocked on hundreds of doors in the course of the last 4 weeks.
For 22 years, this arch-conservative didn't need to worry too much about campaigning in this Tory heartland.
And on the whole, my supporters in the past wouldn't campaign here at all. They'd go off to another constituency, and I myself would spend some days away.
But now, Dominic Grieve isn't a Tory.
Well, good luck. We'll see how
Thank you very much.
Not anymore.
Mr. Dominic Grieve. He thinks that the device of withdrawing the whip this evening is going to change my mind or that of my honourable and right honourable friends. He has got another thing coming. Order!
In early September, with Boris Johnson just 41 days into his leadership, Dominic Grieve and 20 other Conservatives were suspended from the party after they voted to prevent a hard no-deal Brexit.
Order. The ayes to the right, 328. The noes to the left, 301. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
There is no consent in this House to leave the European Union without a deal.
Dominic Grieve was never welcomed back. He's now an independent, campaigning against Brexit, and he's trying to claw back his old voters.
I've got uphill battle. Overturning one's own majority of 25,000 is not an easy task.
Probably, as things currently stand, looks set to lose that seat. It's really interesting.
Britain's biggest pollster, YouGov, has predicted a majority for Boris Johnson at this election.
Well, Boris Johnson, for decades now, has been seen as a very different type of politician to the type we're used to seeing here. He's just different. He just makes jokes, he talks slightly differently. And the public, partly because of that, see him as being far more charismatic. They describe him as that, and also a sort of likeable figure.
Jeremy Corbyn, on the other hand, is widely considered to have little chance of winning the election.
The chances of the Labour Party getting a majority are about as close to zero as it's possible to get. But that isn't really the question. The question of this election in the UK is, are the Conservatives going to get a majority, or is it going to be a hung parliament?
A hung parliament could hand some power to a rebel like Dominic Grieve, but in this neighbourhood, that's a rather unorthodox notion. And many people here are afraid that a vote for Dominic Grieve will help put Jeremy Corbyn into Downing Street.
There is a huge anxiety that by voting for me as an independent, it's incorrect, you might somehow facilitate Corbyn getting into Downing Street.
In the 2016 Brexit referendum, the electorate narrowly voted Remain, and it's these Remainers who have flocked to Dominic Grieve's campaign launch.
And I'd like to reassure you that this evening is going to be much more fun than the launch of the Conservative Party manifesto.
They see this election as their last chance to stop Britain leaving the EU by denying Boris Johnson a majority.
So my message is very simple. I'm sorry my party's gone bonkers.
We were separating ourselves from him because we happen to think he's taking the country to a very dangerous destination.
Boris Johnson's hard Brexit has so alienated moderate voices in his own party.
Our main speaker this evening, Michael Heseltine.
A former Conservative Deputy Prime Minister has come to endorse Dominic Grieve.
They believe their country is where their loyalty should be.
Even Grieve's political opponent has come along too.
So I'm the was the Liberal Democrat parliamentary candidate for this area for Beaconsfield, and I was elected by the local party in the beginning of September.
Rob Castell has now stood aside and urged his voters to back Dominic Grieve. It's a tactical move being replicated across the country in a bid to topple Boris Johnson and stop Britain crashing out of the European Union.
I knew I'd split the vote. I mean, I know if you know the arithmetic in this constituency, it's been a very, very safe Tory seat. Although I might increase the numbers, I wasn't going to win it, and I was pretty realistic about that. And so I quite quickly thought, yeah, this is the best thing for me to do, is to stand aside for someone like Dominic, who's been doing it for 22 years and is a sort of real heavyweight.
Door by door, Dominic Grieve is determined to drag back his old voters.
Campaigns like vote for you. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
problem.
You made my day. Thank you very much indeed.
He finds people troubled by Brexit.
I agree with you on Europe.
Yeah.
I think if Britain really wants to slit its own throat, carry on with Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
And troubled by their new Prime Minister.
I mean, I can't forgive you for austerity.
No, all right.
You played a big part in that. But at least I can discuss it with you and you'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
We're having some fun.
Within the next few hours, Dominic Grieve will discover just how much that truth will cost him.
I have no regrets about what I did on that day in early September. In my view, it was absolutely vital that it should be done.
Good afternoon, Dominic Grieve. I've been your Member of Parliament.
Yes, I recognise you from your photograph.
You know I'm standing in this election. Might I have your support?
You certainly got my tick.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.